Hi there, my name is Omid, and today we have a very good video on the difference between then and then. So this is a very common mistake a lot of people make. Let's get it started. First of all, I'd like to talk about the pronunciation, the difference in pronunciation between then and then, okay? So, then sounds like Ken. You know Ken and Barbie? Ken. It rhymes with Ken. Then. Then is more like can. So can, then, can, then. So there's a slight difference in pronunciation, although oftentimes when people speak fast, you may just hear then for both cases. When somebody actually says then, you may hear then. Now, let's look at some questions, and I want you to see where you currently are in terms of then versus then. So, our first example, she's bigger than me. Do you think this sentence is correct? If you said no, you're correct. This should be than. Number two, I will come then. I will come then. What do you guys think? This is also incorrect. I ate dinner and then I cleaned up. What do you think? This one? Correct. And I'll go over the explanations in a second. I have more money than my sister. Okay, do you think this is correct? Yes, although I don't have more money than my sister, so that part is incorrect. And number five, back then I took the bus. What do you think? This one is also incorrect. So, if you have made many mistakes or there are some of these that have confused you, this video will really help you to learn the difference between then and than. Okay, so we are starting with then, with an E, okay? So, what can I tell you about then? First of all, then usually comes at the beginning or the end of a sentence. Not always, but often. Okay, so that's one hint. Then doesn't come at the beginning of a sentence. Another thing I can tell you is that then has to do with sequence. So sequence means the order. First, then, finally. You often learn that when you learn English in beginner classes. First, I did this, then I did that, next I did this, finally I did that. Okay, so that's sequence. Then also has to do with time. Okay, so I will be there then. I'm going to the store, then I will go visit your house. I will be there at 5 o'clock. I will be there then. So it has to do with time. Let's look at some example sentences. First, I rented the movies, then I watched all three Lord of the Rings back to back. So that's a very long time to spend on Lord of the Rings, and I did do that. So notice the sequence though. We have first action, next action, then. Then I watched all three Lord of the Rings. Sentence number 2. We didn't have the internet back then. Okay, so this is also common to say back then when you're looking at today versus the past. We often call the past back then. So again, this has to do with time. Here's another common expression with then. every now and then. So every now and then means sometimes. Every now and then, I look at my photo album. Every now and then, I eat ice cream cake. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens once in a while. So I guess you could say every now and then, very similar to every once in a while. Okay? So again, then, think sequence, and think time. Let's look at then. When do we use then? We use it when we're comparing things. Okay? So when we want to compare one thing to another thing, this is when we use then. So what are comparatives? Well, often we may talk about more than. I have more friends than you. I could also say I have less friends than you. We also have, if we have some sort of adjective, plus er. I am richer than you. I am poorer than you. I am smarter than some people. So this is just er examples, okay? Also, we use than with rather. I would like to go shopping rather than go bowling, for example. Okay, so let's look at some example comparison sentences. Number 1. Wolverine is better than Cyclops. This is something I feel confident about. And notice T-H-A-N. Sentence number 2. It cost more money than I thought. This happens a lot when you go shopping. You buy something, you didn't really look at the price. Oh, it costs more money than I thought. So again, if you see the word more, if you see the word less, if you see something er or rather, these are clues that it's going to be then. Let's do some practice sentences together. We are going to go over the sentences together, and I want you to try to fill in the blank with then or than. Okay? So, sentence number 1. I went to the store to buy milk, blank. I realized I forgot my wallet at home. Do you think this sounds better as then I realized I forgot my wallet at home? Or then I realized I forgot my wallet at home? If you said then, you're correct. Because this is a sequence. First action, then is the second action. Number 2. Every now and I buy Smarties. What do you think it is? Do you think it's then or then? Every now and then. Again with an E. I buy Smarties. Number 3. Abdul is funnier. Frank. Which one do you think it is? Abdul is funnier than Frank. So in this case, our clue is the ER. We are comparing things. We are comparing Abdul to Frank. So we know it must be then. Number 4. Vegetables are more expensive in the Yukon, Toronto. So the Yukon is the northern part of Canada. What do you think? Then. So how do I know it was then? Well, we are comparing the Yukon to Toronto, and we have this clue. I see the word more. Anytime I see more, it's going to be some sort of comparison. So in this case, then is correct. I hope this lesson is useful for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.